read in the newspaper the battles we were fighting in, and I realized, I don't know what battle they were in, but it wasn't the same battle I was in. And people that I realized our news was censored. I'm like, holy moly. But we're told we have freedom of speech and no censorship. I'm going, wait a minute. And it's only, and I was about 25 at the time, and at that point, I had to take another step backwards and then again question what I had been taught. Is there freedom of speech, or are we censored? Is there freedom of the press? Yes or no? And until you begin to question everything, I'm not saying they're right or wrong, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but every so often we need to step back and question what we've been taught to think.
But how do we make a decision about what's the direction which is going to lead us to success, to fulfillment, to those things that we choose to have in our life then?
Well, again, it goes back to your subject. It's called passion, and passion is, anger plus love. And that's a combination of the two. Excuse me, that's recovering from a cold.
Sure.
But there's so many problems this world faces, like AIDS. What a massive problem that is. Or the polar ice caps melting. What a massive problem that is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to take on AIDS because it doesn't really resonate that much for me. And the ice caps, that really concerns me also. But the question was, what challenge can I solve that I'm best here? I think the Hindus say your dharma. What were you sent here on earth to do? It's not about what I like doing.
Right.
It's about what I hate. And I just hate. I don't mean hate in a bad way. I mean, I hate it that the polar ice caps are melting. I hate it that there's AIDS. But which one of the challenges am I best equipped to handle? And that's your dharma.
And how did you figure that out for yourself?
It was really easy. What I hated and what I loved. I just really dislike it that our school system brainwashes us into being employees of the rich.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that until I had another point of view, my rich dad's point of view.
Right. And then what did you love?
Huh?
You said it was based on what you hated and what you loved. So
I love making money.
You love making money.
I have a great time. Cool. Hey, look at Donald Trump. That guy's having a blast.
Yeah.
And when other people will tell you, well, money doesn't make you happy, what moron made that story? The only person that made that story up is somebody who's obviously never been without money. Or they're so broke they don't know the difference between misery, you know what I mean?
Right.
But when I didn't have money, and I've been without money, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Your friends desert you, you smell.
I'm sure many of our listeners would agree that being without money is horrible. So share with us some of the principles then that your rich dad taught you that helped you to get an education, a financial education.
Well, the real simple one was that instead of working for money, have money work for me. Now, that makes sense to me. I mean, so when I invest today, I can get an 80% return, 100% return, an infinite return on my money. But the financial planner will tell you 8% is good. At that point, you're going to say, well, then I'm still working for the financial planner because they're going to take it in commission anyway.
Right.
So until the words are, till you step back and then question your thoughts. In other words, are you a robot running upon embedded commands,
Right.
That's really when it begins to start for you. You say, maybe what I'm thinking is not accurate anymore. Let me give you another idea. From 1990 to the year 2000, the financial planners came out and said, work hard, save money, get out of debt, invest for the long term in mutual funds, and diversify.
Right.
And that's when the mass of the baby boom generation was entering the so-called stock market because they realized that the pensions weren't going to work, so they had these mutual funds and they started buying these 401ks and whatever they started to do. And from 1990 to the year 2000, work hard, save money, get out of debt, invest for the long term in mutual funds and diversify worked. Then suddenly in the year 2000 it stopped working. And people who followed that dogma got ripped off the tune of $7 to $9 trillion following the financial planner's advice of work hard, save money, get out of debt, invest for the long term and diversify, buy, hold, and pray. It didn't work. There's still people hanging on. It hasn't worked. And what happened instead was that what took off was real estate, oil, gas, silver, and gold. And then the financial planners are telling them, no, don't do that. It's too risky. The reason it's too risky is because the financial planner will lose their commission. So all I'm saying is not right or wrong, but you sit back and you look at it and say, well, why why am I doing this? Is because somebody told you, work hard, save money, get out of debt, invest for the long term, diversify. It's good advice.
Yes.
And save money is the worst of all because you're not saving money. After 1971, the U.S. dollar turned into a currency. And that means savers are the biggest losers of all. The dollar is dropping faster. You know, even Warren Buffett doesn't save money. You read his books, he doesn't recommend saving money unless you can get a 15% return on your cash.
You're right. Well, and Warren Buffett has been getting quite a bit better return than that for quite a long time.
Yes, he gets the average is about 22%. But if you're in real estate or entrepreneurship, you can beat the 22% all day long.
So talk to us a little bit about that, because I'm sure our listeners are perking up right now.
Okay, there's a reason for that is because with what Warren invests in, he has no control. If you invest in a stock, you have no control over it. You invest in savings, you have no control. You have no control over interest rates.
Mm.
If you invest in mutual funds, you absolutely have no control. And bonds, you have no control. But with real estate and with businesses, you have control. You can be creative. For example, I bought, it's an example I use in my book all the time. I bought 80 acres of land for $115,000.
Mm-hmm.
I chopped off 30 acres. I sold the 30 acres for $215,000. I put $100,000 in my pocket, and I still have the 50 acres remaining. So what's my return on investment? It's infinite.
Right.
And so it's very easy to get infinite returns if you have a right brain and you're creative.
Mm.
But you cannot be creative with stocks because that's called cheating. And that's what the SEC was created for. So stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and savings are for very left-brain people.
Uh-huh.
You know, people use PCs. Mac users are the guys on the right brain side. That's the difference.
Got it.
And there's two kinds of investors, open-minded investors and closed-minded investors. And the closed-minded investors are looking for the magic formula, so they invest for the long term, diversify, save money. They can't think. And if you're open-minded, then you'll go to real estate or you'll go